Hey everyone, it's March 20th, 2026. I want to do a quick trade review for what I did yesterday, March 19th, 2026. It was a pretty frustrating day. I'm gonna try to run through my trade review quickly. Um, but I just want to do this as a way for myself, to review what my performance looked like, why I did what I did, try to take away lessons from the day that I need to watch out for. I think the biggest thing was the expectations that I had come into the day, and just seeing those expectations not take place was pretty frustrating, and what led to the way I traded. And just going to rely a little bit on what I currently have as a trade, what I would call a trade review. Um, to and I'm gonna to kind of continue to build on it and try to work on that trade review and make it better for myself, so that I make sure I'm getting down into the nitty-gritty details that are going to help me improve and help me take away the most from my trade review. So kind of going into the written aspect of what my daily trade review looks like, it's called a daily debrief, and it pretty much starts with the trade log. I put in six trades, as you can see here on the screen. So I had six trades. P&L was around a negative 400, a little over $400, I think, in terms of the overall loss. Um, did I follow my plans? I did not follow my plan. My plan was to trade below or into the a fast trending developing value, or a fast trending IPB below the DVAL, below the developing very low for the day on the intraday, and we never went below the development value area low, and really confirmed below this blue shaded area. So it would have been below here. It would have required speed. It would have required energy. It would have required some selling to be taking place, and we got none of that. And I think that was a bit frustrating, or it was some of the trades that you eventually see here were a reflection of me trying to impose my expectations onto the market, and that's just such a poor way to do things. Um, but but yeah, so that's what my plan was. Another part of my plan was to trade from developing value area high here if we got a pullback. So if we were to rotate, test developing value area high, my goal was to short from here into into a continuation lower, based on the overall narratives that I saw taking place. If I deviated, what happened, again, covering it, just really in regards to my expectations not matching what was happening, and I started imposing what I expected the market instead of what I wanted the market to do, instead of waiting for my plan that I had developed, and instead of waiting for it to properly present itself. Shorted from the middle of DVA, shorted into DVA at the very low twice, scratched, then re-entered. And then after that, actually talked to one of the other traders, and they had just this really clear idea in my head that that just made sense to me, in the sense that, well, we were overextended on these higher time frames, so there could be potential for some long opportunities. And that, to me, I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe they're right. The delta that supports that kind of thesis. Um, we could definitely, it could definitely do that. And which led me to start taking longs, which I felt were ended up, pretty good long, good long here. But I took a lot of risk, and I felt that here maybe was that one spot where it's like, okay, finally we're gonna turn, and I'm just getting in um, on the next, move higher, in terms of, next little rhythm move here. And I was very wrong. Ended up being proved wrong quite quickly, and ended up taking a bigger loss than I should have for this kind of idea. And then still held on to it. Noticed that we took out a couple stops here, and we tested lower and just failed to, once again, maintain that imbalance that I felt the market was aiming to continue. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let me go ahead and take this long. And again, so the overall premise is that these were not my ideas. This was not my idea. This is not something I had planned for. So that in that sense is like what you don't end up with the same level of commitment to something that might not be your idea. You might still be able to trade it, and I felt like I had a good chance here to trade it. I wish maybe I don't know if actually I shouldn't say I wish, but maybe I should have been a little bit more um, faster to exit. You know, if just given the rotational behavior, and maybe I would have had a chance to get long again. So, but I don't know. Again, this wasn't my trade idea, and but it did look like a good opportunity in the end, and I think there was some opportunity in there that I simply wasn't able to take advantage of, and I maybe should have included that into my plan as well. So I can see where I could have done better in the terms of the planning process of like, okay, you know what, this is we are overextended on multiple time frames. We could use a rotation back to test, you know, a key level to see whether we continue this trend lower or not. So and just especially given how the action was yesterday, I think there was definitely room for that for that hypothesis to come into play as well, to be added to everything else. Um, so yeah, so there was a little bit of good there, but again, it's just the fact that it wasn't my idea, so therefore I just wasn't as committed to it. But wish I had included it, and I think I should have included it um, as a way to kind of you know, maybe not be so hands in on this core idea, which was, you know, the bearish thesis. Because both of my hypos were both bearish thesis, and there was not a bullish hypo, which I felt should have been there after the fact. And then going to the last trade of the day, 10 minutes before the close, we see this great price action. I might be frustrated from seeing these longs not been able to work from, you know, not being able to to yeah make the most out of this long opportunity that I had taken. So that might have been part of my frustration. And so you see me making a stupid short here, at pretty much saying, oh well, it's part of my first plan. But it's like 10 minutes before the close. So it's just not it. It's just by this time of day, trading is should be done for me. You know, there's not much. 10 minutes before the close is just you're just yeah. I Unless it's like a clear scalp. This was not a clear scalp. This was me doing hypo number one, which was a trade to hold idea, and wasn't part of the process. So overall, that was a full day of trading for me that really showcased poor decisions, and I think with the main thing of like, okay, well, what is the thing that I can walk away from today and from this kind of trading? And it's like, um, maybe not at a minimum, not um, imposing my expectations on what I think should happen. That to me is okay. And if it's not happening, don't maybe it's best to just not do anything. So that's pretty much essentially what I'm walking away with. That I feel like I can do a lot with. It's like, okay, it's not doing what you want it, or you have these expectations that you've created. The market's not doing it. What can you do? Nothing. Don't do anything. And that in itself is a good day, because especially for me, you know, I'm not losing, which is part of what I'm trying to get good at. So That's my biggest takeaway, and that's something I look forward to walking into today, now on March 20th, walking into next week, and moving forward. Create the plan, trade the plan. Do not impose the plan on the market. So that's what I got for my trade review for March 19th.